Okay, so welcome everybody to Make Your Course Accessible using Ally. My name is Linda Sudlesky. I'm a Learning Design Services employee here at UMass Boston. As an instructional designer. And today we're going to cover the topic of inclusive course and content design and get into some of the processes of ensuring course and content accessibility. But since we have a small group, I was wondering if there's anything in particular you're most interested in getting from this. If you could please, let me know. Let us know in chat or unmute yourself and just say hi and say what you're most why you came today and why you're most interested in seeing this presentation. So if anybody wants to speak out, they can, or just write something in chat. Okay. So many instructors want to make their course more accessible, and they're overwhelmed with fixing the content in their course. So, oops, there's a couple of instructors. Faculty often come to us asking, where can they start to make their course more accessible, and what does that mean? So in the following presentation, I'm hoping to clarify the difference between course and content accessibility and share with you the best tool that you can use in this process if you're an instructor, and that is Ally. So as I've said in previous presentations, accessible means that a person with a disability is afforded the opportunity to acquire the same information, engage in the same interactions, and enjoy the same services as a person without a disability in an equally effective and equally integrated manner with equivalent ease of use. And I want you to keep in mind the ease of use, because that's one that I feel is easy to achieve by providing options, and we're going to talk more about that. So the two main parts of making a course accessible really is your course design. So how you structure your course. And when I'm talking about a course, I'm speaking of an online course in this case. So, and when we're talking about structuring an online course, we're talking about structuring it in the LMS, the learning management system. And then the course content that you put in that course is it accessible? Can everyone access it? Those are really important questions to ask yourself as you're putting together your course. So hold on a second, let me just move that. All right. So course design accessibility has three main components: ease of navigation, clear instructions, and providing choice. And I chose these two images because they demonstrate how, at the Healy Library, there are different ways people can navigate through the library. They can use the stairs or they can use an elevator. And some people need to use the elevator if they're using a wheelchair and using crutches, or have some kind of injury. And so it's important that in every aspect of life, we're providing people with options as far as navigating through it, as we are navigating through a course. So in ease of navigation, I'm sharing with you now two examples of a course menu. The one on the left is a very concise course menu, and this is the template or version of the template that we promote using, or we include in every online course. That it has a simple way of navigating through. There's the home page that a person goes into every time they log into their course, and it has announcements and different things that the student needs to know is coming up in their course. The Start Here syllabus for including the syllabus and any introductory information. And Weekly sessions, we recommend using weekly sessions and placing the content in each week or session titled week 1 or week 2 or session 1 or 2. And this creates a learning path for your students. Instead of asking them to use the syllabus as a guide for each week and having navigating through your course be like, you know, a hunt for the information they need based on what the syllabus says. So it's better to have a clean navigation process and set that learning path for your students. And that provides more accessibility for our students as well at many levels. And I just want to take a moment to also say that, so what I didn't mention is on the right is an older course that has since been revised to be much more concise, but I had to take the screenshot for the course menu in 2 separate screenshots because that's how long it was. And as you see, like the lines for the line items, this is one item here where it says course sessions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then it details what's in the course session. That is unnecessary and also really impinges on mobile access. And students are often accessing your course using their mobile devices and maybe have limited screen access to navigate around. So seeing a concise couple word title rather than, you know, 7 lines is going to be much more helpful for navigation and much more consistent with other courses, because the majority of courses are using a template similar to this and maybe just changing it slightly. So not to completely like disorient a student as far as where to find discussions or weekly sessions. Or renaming things is something we don't recommend as well. If you needed to add something to your course menu, that would be fine. But so changing weekly sessions or Zoom meeting to weekly class session, when somebody comes in and they're in your class and they're using a screen reader, and then they click the Z and try to locate the Zoom meeting and can't find it because it's been renamed, that impinges on accessibility. So that's something to keep in mind. Any questions, Ellen, in chat that aren't answered, or?
No, nope.
Okay.
All good.
All right. So this view here is a view of what it looks like from a mobile device. So, to continue with ease of navigation, this is using the Blackboard Learn app. And there used to be 2 apps, one for instructor and one for students. And now there's just one titled the Blackboard Learn app or the Learn app. So when you go into the Learn app, and the reason I'm showing you the screenshots, it's so much easier than sharing my phone screen. I was trying to do it earlier and was not having success due to network issues. So, so this is on the left, you see the course content, and then you would just click, after you've clicked into course content, click in weekly sessions and get the image on the right. And so if I needed to see session 13, I know it's right at the top, and that's the whole point of reverse ordering, so that students don't have to scroll all the way down to the end to get to session 13 or session 12 or 11, that the session that they're working on that week is at the top. And so that provides ease of navigation and ease of use that we talk about in accessibility. Any questions about reverse ordering? Another thing that I'm going to show you in a little bit is course tools and links and how we will be using those. In fact, I might do that right now. So let me just go to, no, I'm no longer sharing that screen, correct, Ellen?
Correct.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'll just go to my desktop and I have a lot open, juggling a lot. So for example, this is my course that I'm teaching this summer. And when I go into weekly sessions, there's this weekly session overview page that just gives students an overview of what to expect each week. Now we're on week 9, so it's at the top. And when we go into week 9, aside of having an agenda here, we have the readings that we've identified by read or explore a website or view a video. So we make it super clear as to what the expectation is for each item in the course, which is also helpful. And the thing about the links, now let me see, is there a discussion here? No, there's an assignment. I think it was in the previous week that we had a discussion and I could share that. So this is the health information discussion. I've created a tool link in Blackboard to create this and linked it to the discussion board instead of just telling someone in this session, go to the discussion board. So I'm making it easier to navigate once again. And when you are using links, I think, well, not I think, but I know it's very important to include your instructions for the discussion or for whatever you're linking to, because they are bypassed and will open the forum directly. So this, and just so you know, I am, as you can see, in student preview mode. So if I were to exit student preview and go into my weekly session, I have these build tools here. And so I can go to discussion board and then choose any one of my discussions to create this link. And say I choose, well, so that a lot of them are already taken care of. So I'll just choose 4 and then click next. And I have the opportunity to put the, oops, close, the opportunity to put the instructions right here so that they're seen when the student navigates to the link, they get the instructions as well, like you saw in my demonstration. Any questions about linking? Because when you're linking to the other areas in your course, you're providing options for the students in how to navigate as well. Because they may want to go right to the discussion forum and then navigate to 4 that way. I'm not going to click into it because then it has students' names in it. But they may, someone may just want to click on the link that you provide in the weekly session. But once again, providing options of navigation increases the accessibility and the ease of use for your students, because they have multiple ways where they could access the material. Another thing that I wanted to show you is in, say, articles. Let's see, most of our articles that we have in the course, we have them in as links. So I can't demonstrate that in this course, but I could go into my accessibility testing course to show you articles right here. So I'm going to jump right to Ally. That Ally is a tool in Blackboard that will basically tell you that how accessible your course is. And it tells you that here it's saying accessibility score low, and here it says accessibility score perfect, but it also gives you more information when you click on it. So when I click on this Mitchell article, it's saying this is only 5% accessible. And it most likely is because it is scanned or not tagged or multiple issues, but it will not Blackboard Ally, I'm sorry, Anthology Ally will share those issues with you untagged, and you can increase it up to 93% if you just tag this article. That could be time consuming to do. So we have an easier solution for that. And I'm going to share that in a second. But it says it doesn't have a language set. It doesn't have a title. And if you were in yesterday's session, we were talking about adding titles to your documents. So that's 7% of accessibility just for adding that title. And this also says it contains text with insufficient contrast. So what I am going to do is close these issues. And I could go through and it could tell me exactly what this means. So this program will actually educate us on what does tagging mean? What does it mean that there's insufficient contrast, which is wonderful. But it'll also say how to tag a PDF. It's going to show us how to do that. But it first will say, can you get a hold of the editable version of this file? And I can't, I just pulled it from the internet. So I pulled it from the library. So I say, no, I don't have the editable version. Can you provide a bibliographic reference? Yep, I can do that. So now what Blackboard is giving me the opportunity to do is put in the permalink URL for this article. And I have the article right here that I've searched for it in the library. And so when I click on this title, I get to this page and here is the permalink. It's a permanent link to this article, to the online access to the article. I'm going to click on permalink and copy it to the clipboard. Then I'm going to go back in to Ally and I'm going to paste that URL. And then I'm going to put the title in. The chapter and volume, which I will get from the library page. So volume 16, page 225 to 231. Oops. Author, oh geez, I think I will just put Mitchell or Suzanne Mitchell. Mitchell, can I do it? Mitchell S. Oops. And can I put et al? I think, or et al. Date of publication. And so this is a little bit time consuming to grab this information, but it's worth it because let's see, 2018, it doesn't say the month. (2018) and the journal article. Oops, wrong B. So the journal is, does anybody see it? Because I'm missing it. Annals of Family Medicine. Annals of Family Medicine. There you go. All right, and I'm going to add reference. And it just made my listing, my document 100% accessible because I'm providing the options, the alternative for access. And in my opinion, I prefer, and that's why with the links in my course, I have I don't download the PDF at all. I provide the permalink as a web link in the course. And I feel that this has 3 main benefits. First, you're giving students who need the HTML access that access right up front. So they're not having to navigate through and say, oh, this is a PDF with, where's my alternative format and all that stuff. You're giving them upfront the online access to it. 2, it gives the journal database another, like the true count of the use of that article. So if you have 50 students in your class and you download one PDF, the database manager doesn't know that it's being used 50 times. They think it's only being used once. So it will actually increase the likelihood that there will be an accessible version of that article or a more accessible version in the future, and show the true use of it, which I think is also important. And then lastly, it gives choice of navigation. You have that permalink and you have multiple choices of accessing and engaging with that article. So, so I think that that is an important thing. And are you guys still seeing my screen? Hold on a second.
We see it, Linda.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I just changed this, to green because of that. And Combs was the same kind of situation where I clicked on it and see the document reference is already added. And I could look up the document reference, make sure it's correct if I want to. But when you think about it, what is the point of downloading the PDF and uploading it to Blackboard when you could just put that permalink in as a web link and show the true use of that article? Any thoughts or suggestions about that? Okay, let me go back to, I think I skipped over a couple things here. Went right to Ally. So hold on a second. So play from current slide. And so yeah, so I went from mobile right over to Ally. But so just to recap, the course design, accessibility, ease of navigation, clear instructions, providing choice. And choice means providing multiple means of access, multiple means of action. And we're doing that by providing materials that give our students options. So when you're talking about course content accessibility, we're really talking about documents, images, videos or GIFs, all of which there are components, accessibility components we need to be considering. Many of them we went over yesterday, if you were in yesterday's session, regarding making a document accessible. But let me just, not forwarding. So just to review though, document accessibility, the what of that are your tags or headings. So those headings that you put in using Word and the headings tool at the top of the screen on your home, it's the home tab, they tag your document. When it's turned into a PDF, it will have tags, and it also has tags as the Word format as well for anyone using a screen reader, and that's really important. Contrast. We talked a little about contrast yesterday, that it should be 4.5 to 1. And contrast, keep in mind, is not that, say, this blue and this orange look different from my perspective. It's what the luminosity of these two colors are and how they look if they were black and white. If someone saw very little color or no color at all, based on how their color vision functions. So a lot of people say when they're referring to this, they call it color contrast. And that's really actually inaccurate. It's just contrast of two elements of your text and your background of any important information that needs to be seen and delineated in between two parts. So, and also descriptive links is also under the what, using descriptive links so that someone who is navigating links differently than with the way we would, with seeing what they are with their eyes and the content around them. Someone using a screen reader, as I had mentioned yesterday, uses either a tab to tab through the links on a page, or they pull up a link list. So they're navigating those links without any of the descriptors around it. So that the click here, please don't use that. Or you know, general link names, or just using the URL for the link doesn't tell the person where that link is going. So your link should always concisely tell the user where you're going to go when you click on it, because that's accessible for all of us, and improves the ease of use for many, particularly for people with screen readers who are navigating your content. So how do we do this, right? Aside of the fact that we should be thinking about this proactively, it's really important to do that. We have the tools of using accessibility checkers in Word and PowerPoint, Adobe Acrobat. And then we also have Ally in courses. So if we have access to a course and we're teaching a course, Ally is a really great tool to use. So for image, just to get into the image accessibility a little bit, the what of that is basically knowing that images need alt text unless they are decorative. So if they serve no purpose instructionally, like this circle with this guy really doesn't serve any purpose instructionally. It just, you know, it indicates accessibility, right? But it doesn't hold any instructional value per se. So I could list that as decorative in my PowerPoint and not have to describe it. However, with alt text, you can rely on the AI a little bit to describe your image for you, but you always have to check it, make sure it's accurate enough, make sure it contains the information that you want to communicate from that image, especially if that image is instructional and of instructional value. Descriptions, which we also refer to as long descriptions, are often used for more complex images, such as infographics or charts or any kind of data visualization that teaches something or has a purpose instructionally or informatively. You would use a long description. And the how I just put here, you would right click on the image, like in Word or PowerPoint, we would right click on the image and then just add the alt text, or you check it and edit the alt text that was added for you by the system. Does anyone have questions about image accessibility and using images in learning? Ellen, is there anything that came through?
There's nothing in the text.
Okay. So, you know, video and GIFs, they are important to make sure that they are accessible, particularly videos. We use videos all the time. Lecture videos for asynchronous lectures, introductory videos for telling people what the course is about. You know, we source other people's videos and put them in our courses. And it's really important that the videos, particularly the ones we source, as well as the ones we make, have captions, that perhaps you're providing transcripts as well for those those people, and that you're descriptive in your narration. So if somebody is viewing a video, but I would venture to guess that the majority of times someone who's using a screen reader, if you provide them with a video and you provide them with a transcript of that video, they're going to open up the transcript and listen to the transcript, because technically it should have the same exact information as the video as far as the auditory information. And based on ease of use, that would be easier to navigate, and is just going to the text document and getting that information. So that's why transcripts are really important. If I'm driving to work and I forgot I'm heading to a class, let's say I'm driving to my class, and I didn't get a chance to listen to the lecture, but I pulled the transcript, put it on my phone, and I'm playing it in my car as I'm driving to work. So that's another use of transcripts. A lot of these things we do for people that have a need for it. It's also a benefit for many others, and we have to keep that in mind, that so many people benefit from accessible elements that you're putting in your documents and your course. And contrast has to be important for video, and flash rate and panning. Flash rate impacts people with migraines and epilepsy, that you should avoid making your videos flicker. You have to think, what is the purpose of it really? Is it just to wow people? Because it might wow some people and it might make some people sick. So you should keep that in mind. Panning does the same thing. A lot of some people with vestibular disorders can't handle all of the movement in virtual reality or videos that are very action related. So that's something to keep in mind as well. How you would avoid generalizations in your description. You shouldn't be saying this information over here, or this information, even to the right, because for someone using a screen reader, what may be to the right for us, or what is at the top of the page for us, might be at the bottom or the last thing they navigate based on the reading order. So you have to keep in mind the differences when you're communicating about something specific in your video. Editing auto captions. Every tool that has auto captioning, Zoom, YouTube in particular, you can go in easily and edit your YouTube video. VoiceThread, right, Ellen? Can we edit the captions in VoiceThread?
Yes, we can.
Yes, so we can edit the captions that are in VoiceThread. It's very important because auto captioning pretty much captures they say approximately 85% correctness, accuracy. And so if you were missing 15% of every word I was saying, then how much would you be getting from that? And it's important that everybody could get all of that information in all the different ways that we're offering it. So editing your captions, very important. Providing transcripts. Usually the majority of programs that provide captions, you can also pull out transcripts. I think, can you do that in VoiceThread, Ellen?
Let's see, what did you just say? The pull out?
Can you pull transcripts from your caption material in VoiceThread? I feel like you can. But
Well,
I'm not
VoiceThread can be exported and put on YouTube also.
Yes,
So
and then you can get it that way.
YouTube can be done, can be done in VoiceThread.
Yeah.
Are people familiar with VoiceThread? You may need to explain that.
Yeah. Does anyone? Do you want to explain what VoiceThread is, Ellen?
Well, let's
You're
see.
more than welcome.
Could you just click the hand raise icon if you need an explanation of what VoiceThread is?
Yeah, that would be a great idea. Anybody raise their hand?
Nope.
Oh, I think everybody understands it. That's good. I'm sorry, but that's a good catch because I didn't think about that. So no questions at this time.
Nope.
Okay. Let me just get back to the screen. So, I already gave you a crash course on LI, but just to give you an overview of more specifically, provides instructor feedback and guidance on content accessibility, alternative formats. So students have options and can interact with the content. So there's a little A next to any content that you add in Blackboard, as far as like if you're attaching a file to an item or something like that. And the student could click on that A and pull many different alternative formats that might be more accessible for that particular student based on the assistive technology they're using to navigate your course. So the thought about alternative formats is basically what you put into it is what you get out of it. So if you put in Blackboard a piece of content or a document that's not accessible, the alternative formats will not miraculously be accessible. They will have similar accessibility issues. So it doesn't protect us from, putting in content that's not accessible, because it won't fix it for us. The onus is on us to fix our content and make sure that we're putting in the best possible, most accessible piece of content so students could get their alternative formats, and those will be accessible as well. And course and institution reporting. And I can't wait to show you the course report, but let me just also give you this review of the colors too. So Ally has these color scales, but if you couldn't see the difference between the red and the green, and that's if you have color blindness to a certain extent, just clicking on the scale in Blackboard, as I had shown you, opens up that window that says specifically how accessible your document is and what you need to do. So it's not the primary use of identifying how well you're doing with your document. It is just the initial. And if you, and also what is also different about all of these images, can everybody see what's different aside of color? The direction the scale is. So if these colors looked all very similar to somebody because of color blindness, they could identify how well someone is doing based on where the needle is in the scale. And also the important thing to remember about this too, or to know about this, students do not see your scales. So you don't have to worry about students seeing whether your content is accessible, or how you, like some instructors get worried about, the students are going to see what grade I got in my document accessibility. No, they do not. They see the alternative formats. That's what they get out of using Ally, is the alternative formats. So this is a screenshot of the Blackboard accessibility report. So this is a course called it's a dummy course, I think, that we've put together, an introduction to languages of all kinds, right? And it is telling me that it's 47% accessible, but it also tells me what's in the course. How many Word documents, how many PDFs, how many images. So you get to see exactly what you're utilizing to build your course, which I think is important. And then it also provides us on the right side, it says content with the easiest issues to fix and a start button, or fix low scoring content and a start button. So if you're one of those people who likes to tackle like the hardest thing first, you'll go for the low scoring content. Or if you want to feel like you've gotten some things done, if it's one of those days where you're like, everything is difficult, you can start with the easiest to fix content. And so what I want to do at this point is I'm going to go into a course, and I have to reshare my entire screen. So hold on a second. I'm just going to share my desktop again. And I'm in Blackboard. So where do you find this accessibility report? Is what you're probably wondering. So in this accessibility testing course, what I'm going to do is go down to the course management area on the left course menu and go to course tools. And the first thing right there is the accessibility report. When I click on it, it's going to pull up an image similar to the one you just saw that says, okay, your course is 70% accessible. What I love about this report and what makes this report such a valuable tool for you is that if you find that you, like myself, have 17 documents that need to be fixed in this course, you don't have to go looking through your course for where they are to fix them. You could fix them right from the report. So it's very functional. You can go click on start for the easiest ones to fix, and then you can click on this PNG file of UMass Boston, and I could just say UMass Boston logo in white, or I could add it's a white M with a U cut out of it, and the words UMass Boston below the M, if I wanted to get more specific as far as what it is. And I click add. I just made it 100% accessible. Okay, that one's done. Now that disappears from my list and I can go to the next one. So I love this report because it really, really can help you tackle the accessibility in your course in a way that wasn't previously possible, that doesn't require you to navigate all through your course and find the things like, oh, was that in week 4 or 5? I don't know. Where did I, and then you work a little on your accessibility and you decide that I need to take a break, you could come back and the report tells you where you're at. Instead of trying to remember, oh, was I in week 7? I don't know. So this is, to me, it's a super helpful tool from that perspective. And I could go back to the overview. I could just look at the low scoring content and say, oh, it's these articles. All right, it's this checklist that I have. You know, I downloaded an ally checklist from Blackboard and it was so inaccessible, which is kind of ironic. It was something that Blackboard made to promote ally, but they had some accessibility issues with their document. But that doesn't mean that the AI they've designed for ally doesn't work fabulously, because it does. It's super helpful at identifying all of the elements that we need to be looking for in an accessible document. And The one thing that I just want to, when I stop sharing, I just want to say that it's really important not to depend too heavily on the AI when it comes to building your documents. Like I would try to approach this proactively. So you have to make your syllabus or build your syllabus. Try to go through and add the headings and do the things that we've been teaching you about doing to ensure the accessibility, then run it through your accessibility checker. It'll be a lot less overwhelming of a list of things to fix. So, and you won't be doing the work twice. You will just be doing it once with some minor changes. And so that's the way I would recommend handling it is taking a proactive approach to try to include accessibility in your documents all the time, if you can. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes because it becomes second nature. All right, well, that was pretty much the extent of what I wanted to show you. I could show you more on the accessibility checker, but I would also invite you to book a consult, and we would be happy to go through all of this information with you with your material where it's more meaningful for you. Thank you and have a great day.